Hello everyone, this is Hemant from Intellipaat and I welcome you all to this session on what is RPA. Today in this session we are going to discuss what is robotic process automation from scratch. So if you're one of those who have heard about robotic process automation but does not know what it actually is, this session is for you. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and start with the agenda to see what all we'll be covering in today's session. So we'll start this session by first discussing why do we need RPA and then move on to discuss what is robotic process automation exactly. After that, we're going to discuss some of the most popular tools that can be used to implement the RPA technology, followed by an introduction to the most popular tool, which is UiPath. After that, I'm going to show you guys how you can install UiPath on your system, followed by a hands-on session, which will be our first RPA program today. Alright, so guys, this is our agenda for today's session. I hope it's clear to you. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and start with the first topic of today's discussion, which is why do we need RPA? So why do we need RPA? Now let's talk about some prominent companies, guys, some prominent research companies who have given their verdict about what they feel about RPA. Right? So let's go ahead and start with the first company, which is McKinsey, which says around 22% of the IT jobs are going to be affected by the RPA technology in the coming years. Now, this basically means that either the human workforce is going to be reduced or the way we work these days, it's going to be changed in the coming years. Right now, this is 22% is a huge number, guys, considering the number of jobs which are related to IT or computers these days, right? So this was the first research that we found. The second research is by Forrester, which says the RPA industry can grow by $2.1 billion by the year 2021. So this is the amount of growth which is there in the RPA sector right now, right? Moving forward, now let's talk about the benefits of RPA. So we saw that, okay, RPA is growing. There is a possibility of RPA replacing human workforce or changing the way the human workforce is working today with the computers. But what benefits do we get when RPA replaces the human workforce, right? The first benefit that we get is automation, right? So automation, not only your work is being replaced by machines, your work can also be done faster and in a more accurate manner, right? Because if you talk about humans, guys, we guys can commit mistakes, right? If we are given a process again and again, if we are implementing the process, there might be a possibility that we might commit a mistake while following that same process again and again. But with a computer, it's not like that. You code your computer in a way once and it will always execute with the same efficiency and same accuracy at all the times. And obviously, when we talk about accuracy or efficiency, computers are always way ahead from humans, right? So therefore, automation is one benefit that you get from RPA. Second thing is you save money. Now, because you have lessened your human workforce who are going to work on that particular task and you have replaced it with machines. Now, the first thing is you will not be paying any salary to your machines, right? The only thing that they will be consuming is electricity. So you're going to save a lot of money as a business owner if you implement the RPA technology in your company. Third thing is it will help reduce human intervention in tasks. Now, when we reduce human intervention, it basically means now we can apply the same workforce, the same human workforce for better tasks, and these tasks which are repetitive in nature could be handled by the RPA technology. And the fourth thing is for creating all these RPA processes, there is no coding required. And this is probably the best feature or the best benefit of the whole RPA tools or the technology itself, right? That there is no coding required for creating a process in the RPA paradigm. Moving forward, we've discussed why RPA is important and what are the benefits for it. Now let's go ahead and start with the topic which talks about what is RPA exactly, right? So let's first decipher what basically RPA means. So RPA basically means robotic process automation. Now let's understand all these three words one by one. So when we talk about robotic basically means when a machine mimics human action, it is called robotic, right? So any machine or any software which is mimicking human actions would be called robotic. The next term is process. So a process is when you follow a sequence of steps to complete a task. Right? These sequence of steps vary from task to task. For example, if you have to open the calculator on your machine, the first thing you have to do is click on start, click on the calculator icon, and then your calculator application is visible. So right, so these are three steps for you to view the calculator application. Similarly, you can also call it as a process of opening the calculator app on your computer. Right? So this is what a process is. And then we have automation, which basically means executing any task without human intervention. Right? So if you were to combine all these three words together now, I can say that when a machine mimics human actions by performing a sequence of steps without human intervention, it is called RPA. Right? So this is the basic definition of what RPA basically means. Moving forward, now let's talk about the most confused topic that you might say that, Hemant, we understand what RPA is, but as far as we see, or what you're trying to tell us is RPA is nothing but automation, right? But automation was there from way back. It was way back from the Industrial Revolution in probably the starting of 1900. So what is new in RPA? So let us discuss this. So guys, when we talk about automation and RPA, there's a thin line between the two. And what is it, that line? Let's discuss that. So when we talk about automation, automation always involves either an invention of a new technology or a machine which can do your task, right? Now, for example, let's talk about the cotton mill, or let's talk about how clothes are woven, or how is cotton made in a cotton mill. Right? So there are multiple machines which work to basically reduce the human intervention. But the thing is, we invented those machines to carry out those tasks. Correct? So whenever you deal with automation, you're always coming up with a new technology or a new software which is going to solve your problem. When we talk about robotic process automation, or RPA, it does not involve any invention or creation of any new software which will be required for solving your problem, right? To solve your automation problem. You have only one tool, which is any RPA tool that you would be using, and using that tool you can create as many automations as you want for your particular task. Right? So the only condition that should be satisfied for an RPA task is that it should be repetitive in nature, and we should be able to do it, or the machine should be able to do it by following a process. Right? So if there are a sequence of steps that can solve that particular case or that particular query, and it is repetitive in nature, that it has to be performed again and again, your RPA technology would be the first thing that should come to your mind for solving that particular thing. Right? So this is the first difference, that in automation you create or you innovate technologies or machines that will solve the problem of your automation task. In RPA, you use the RPA tool to create a process which is going to solve your automation task, right? So let's also take one example to understand the difference. For example, now imagine before we invented computers, we invented calculators, we used to calculate numbers manually, right? So if I had to do a 2 plus 3, I would do it either on a paper or in my mind. Right? But when we came up with computers, we came up with calculators, then we basically invented a machine to solve our calculations problem, right? And now the calculator becomes an automation product. But now the problem was that even in calculators, if you had to do some big calculations, even in calculator, you had to type in the formula or the values so that you get the result. Now I'm saying I can even if there is a process to basically get a value out of a formula, I can say that I can create an RPA process on top of that, which basically means that on this calculator I can create an RPA program which will be able to press the keys on this calculator to get the desired outcome. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm basically adding a layer of my RPA software on the calculator invention, which was basically an automation, right? Which was created in the automation paradigm. Now, for solving the human intervention part, which came along in the calculator, I can use RPA to basically hit the buttons so that no human intervention is required. I only have to pass in the values that I want. I'll just write it on a piece of paper, or I'll type it on a Word document, and I'll send it to my program, and my program will automatically hit the right buttons on the calculator and give me the answer. Right? So this is the first difference between automation and RPA. The second difference is, if you're creating, say, a software, right, if you're creating a machine. So anyways, if you're creating a machine also, you'll have to create a software for that machine, right? So programming knowledge is required to basically give yourself a product for automation. But in RPA, the most awesome thing is that you do not require any programming knowledge to create any automation product, right? So that is the most awesome thing about RPA. Third thing is, in automation, that it may require human intervention. That is, for example, in the case of calculators, we still needed human intervention to basically punch in the numbers in the calculator. But in RPA, the whole task, or the whole idea about the RPA technology, was to remove human intervention completely, right? And that is why you do not require human intervention when you are working with RPA processes. All right. So guys, these are the differences between automation and RPA. Moving forward, now let's talk about the RPA tool. So we've understood the RPA technology, in a quiet fashion. I think if somebody comes up to you and asks to you what RPA is, you'll easily be able to tell them or explain them what the technology is. But now let's get to the part where we start implementing it, right? So RPA as a technology can be implemented by various tools. There are various tools out there, right? But the top 3 tools in the market are these. So you have Blue Prism, you have Automation Anywhere, and then you have UiPath. Right? So these are the 3 top tools which are used in the RPA industry, which are being used by the companies to create RPA processes. Now let's discuss about each of these tools one by one. So when I talk about Blue Prism, it is basically based on Java. But Blue Prism, as a beginner, if you want to try out RPA and want to work on RPA, you cannot work on the Blue Prism software. Reason being, it is paid and it is very costly. Right? So for an individual, it is going to cost you a lot, and just for the sake of learning, if you want to learn RPA, a Blue Prism is not the tool to go for, right? Similarly is the case with Automation Anywhere as well, that Automation Anywhere tool is not free, it is paid. And of course, if you want a demo for Automation Anywhere, it is available, but the same is not available for Blue Prism. For Automation Anywhere, the trial version is available, but it is only valid for 15 days, right? So if you want to try out the tool, but if you are a beginner to RPA, you will not be able to comprehend what the tool is all about, right? Our third tool is basically a savior in this aspect. Now, UiPath is a company which gives its RPA tool as a community edition version, right? So if you are a person who is a beginner to RPA, or who wants to make a shift into the RPA technology, then probably the tool to go for is UiPath, because you can install it on your computer, you can practice all you want. There is no trial period involved in UiPath software. It is completely free, and you can use it on your computer to practice the RPA programs. All right. And because of this, it is more popular than the other two, and you can have a look at the Google Trends to basically identify that, or to make out that UiPath is way more popular than what Blue Prism or Automation Anywhere is in the industry right now. But if you look at what the job says, if you look at what the industry is saying, UiPath is still being adopted. I'll say it is probably used in around 30 to 35% of the companies right now. Most of the companies use Blue Prism and Automation Anywhere, but they're trying to move their software now to UiPath. Reason being, there are more experts out there who are trained in the UiPath software than Blue Prism or Automation Anywhere, right? Just because of the reason that UiPath has a free tool available for everyone to use. All right. Moving forward, now, since you have learned that UiPath is more popular, it has a community edition available, it makes more sense to learn more about UiPath so that we can also create our own RPA programs. All right. So let's talk about UiPath now. Let me introduce you guys to UiPath. So guys, UiPath is, again, like I said, it's an RPA software It's an RPA tool which can be used to create RPA automations, right? It offers a community edition which can be used for people like us who are beginners who want to move into RPA technology for free. It is available to us and we can practice all we want on our computers, right? The UiPath company was founded way back in, I think, 2005, but they came up with their RPA tool late in 2013. They have various offices. They have offices in Tokyo, the US, and many other places around the world, right? Moving forward, now let's talk about how you can install UiPath on your system. So let me help you with setting up UiPath on your system. So here are the steps which you can follow to basically install the UiPath software. The first thing that you have to do is basically go to this link, that is uipath.com/developers and /community edition download. Once you go to that link, you'll basically see a page like this, right? Now all you have to do is fill up a form. So you have to fill the first name, the last name, the email address, and all these fields. Once you fill all these fields, just click on request community edition and that will set you up, right? That will just basically send you a mail on your email address. So once you click on request community edition, it will lead you to this page, which basically will say thank you for your request. And now you will receive a mail with the installation steps that you can use to install your RPA software. Now guys, once you receive the mail will look something like this. All you have to do is click on download the UiPath community edition and this will start your download for the UiPath software. Once the software is successfully downloaded, we'll just click on the file and let me show what the steps follow after that. Alright, so once the file has been downloaded, just click on the file and it would open this screen, right? Now this is the installation screen, guys. Let it be here for like a minute or 2 minutes. Once the installation is done, you will get one more screen where you'll be asked to enter the email address. So let's wait for that screen. Alright, so once that installation is complete, you will see this screen. Just click on Activate Community Edition and enter the same email address which you entered while registering for the product, right? So I registered using this email ID. So let me just put in that email ID. And once done, just click on Activate. This will activate your product. And now you can successfully use UiPath on your system. So guys, this is how the UiPath Studio basically looks like. I'll get into more details. Let us just come back to our slides. All right. So guys, to summarize what all we did, we went to this link, we filled out the form which was mentioned on the web page. We received an email with all the information and the download link. We clicked on that and then we installed UiPath Studio. We got a screen in the end where we clicked on Start Community Edition Trial and then we entered the email address with which we registered on the web page. All right. Once that is done, your UiPath will be all set up and ready for you to use. Moving forward, now let's talk about our first program in using the RPA technology on the UiPath Studio. So let us switch back to our UiPath Studio, which looks something like this. Awesome. The first thing that I have to do is I will click on process. So when you click on process, just name your process something. Let's name it as Hello World. All right. And now your project is getting ready. So UiPath is downloading any dependency which might be required for your project. And once this is done, you will reach the main page where you can start creating your project. All right, so let's wait for this to end and then we should start with our project. Awesome guys, so this is your main screen. So the first thing that you would do is create a process. All right, so there is an activity called sequence. So just click on activities and click on search activities and click on the search bar and just drag and drop the sequence activity over here. So basically, the sequence or activity specifies all your processes. So like I said, you have to design a sequence of steps that are going to basically create your project, or is basically going to solve that problem at hand, which which the problem that basically you want to solve using RPA. All right. For simplicity sakes, let's do a very simple program first. So what I want to do is I want RPA to basically send me a message box which says hello world. Let's see how this works out. So we'll type in hello world, and that's it, right? And now let's run this automation. All I have to do is click on sequence and click on the run button. The moment I click on the run button, you will see that the UiPath Studio will minimize and your automation will start executing. And this is what I get. I get a hello world message box. The moment I click OK, the automation would end and I would reach the UiPath Studio. So this is basically how you get started with UiPath. Now let's create a little more complex problem. Now let me show you how to do anything in your computer. For example, say I want to click on the start button. How would I be able to do that? So all you have to do is in activities, just search for an activity called click, right? Just drag this activity over here. Now it says indicate on screen. Just click on the indicate on screen button. And now you would have to select where you want to click exactly on the screen, right? So let me select that. So since I do not have anything over here, what I can do is I can also start delay, right? So if I click on F2, I'll get a 3 seconds buffer time. So what I'll do, I'll exit this presentation screen and I reach over here. Now I want to click on the start button. So the way I can do that is go here, and as you can see, a small box will appear on the start button, and I'll just click over here. Now as you can see in the UiPath Studio, it recognizes, okay, so here it has to click on the button, and all I'll do right now is click on sequence and click on run, and you can see that my process will automatically click on the start button. Now this is just one step, right? Now you can do a sequence of steps as well to really understand the power of UiPath Studio. For example, say I want to go to Intellipaat.com website. I want to search for a course called RPA. Go inside that search page and then click on the RPA course, right? So let us do this manually first to see what all we'll have to do. So first, my program should open Intellipaat.com. Once the website is open, it should click on the search bar, type in RPA and then click on search. Once my program will click on search, I will get this page which will have the course, and all I have to do is click on the course and that will basically open the details of the course. So this is what I want to do using my RPA program. So let's see how we can do that. So first we'll have to search for an activity called open browser. So I'll search in open browser. I'll drag and drop it over here. And what I want to do is I want to go to www.intellipaat.com. Okay, so by default the browser that it will open is Internet Explorer. So let me choose Chrome over here and let's see what happens, right? So let us first execute only this part and see how it goes. So I'll click on run and it opens a website for Intellipaat. Awesome, guys. So this is what I wanted. Now let's go ahead and do the next step, which is basically searching for RPA in the search box, right? Now guys, a catch over here, when you're using Chrome, you basically have to install an extension for Chrome, which would basically be for UiPath, right? So if you want to go to a particular address, that would work. But the moment you want to, get some say I want to click on the search bar, so it has to recognize the search bar in the browser. For that, you need to install an extension in Chrome, right? I'm not going to go over how to install that extension. What I'm going to simply do is choose IE over here. So with Internet Explorer, you do not need any extension. All you do is you select IE and you just click on run, and now you'll be able to see that your Internet Explorer will open and it will have the Intellipaat website opening automatically. Okay, so this is the Intellipaat.com website and it opened on the IE Explorer and the automation exited, right? So our next step now is to basically search for a program, right? So I'll have to search for an activity which would basically type in this particular search box. So what I would do, I would search for an activity called type, and here I find type into, right? Just drag and drop it over here, and now indicate element inside browser. Just click on this and click on the search bar. So this is where you want to type. And what do you want to type? You want to type RPA. That's it, right? So let's see if this automation gets executed successfully. So I'll just click on run, and now the web page opens and the RPA is typed automatically over here. Awesome. Now the next step is to click on search. So what I'll do is I'll search for an activity called click, drag and drop it over here, and now indicate the element inside the browser, which is this search button. Click over here, and now it knows how to click on the search button, right? Just let's close all the browsers which are open, and now let's try to run this program again. So if I click on run, so basically it opens an IE browser, clicks on RPA, clicks on the search button, and then exits, right? And as you can see, it has search now reached the RPA page. Awesome. Next step is I have to click on the RPA course. So again, I will drag and drop a click event, and now I will choose the RPA course to click on. Awesome. So this is also done. And this is as easy as it took only 2 minutes for us to create this kind of an automation. Had you been creating this automation in probably an automation coding tool like Selenium or Python, it would have taken around 15 or 20 lines of code for you to do that. And obviously over here, you did not require any programming experience. It was as simple as just dragging and dropping some elements and getting your automation being able to run, right? Now, one thing that you might have noticed is that it ends pretty quickly the moment it does everything, right? So what we can also do is we can delay the automation to end by specifying a timer over here. So probably I want the automation to run for 3 more seconds after it does everything. Okay. So I've entered a delay for 3 seconds, and now let's see how it works. So I'll just click on the sequence, click on run, and now let's see how it goes. So it went to Intellipaat.com, searched for RPA, clicked on the search bar, clicked on the course, waiting for 3 seconds, and then exited the automation. Awesome. So this is what we wanted. And this is your first program in RPA, guys. I want you to practice it, right? Get a hang of all the tools of or all the elements which are there in UiPath. Our next session is going to be exclusively on UiPath, where I'm going to show you guys the other functionalities of this awesome tool, where you have recording, screen scraping, data scraping, etc. So this all will be covering in our next session. All right. So with this, I end today's session, guys. So thank you guys for attending today's session. I hope you guys learned something new today. Like I said, just practice what you did in this video, and in a next upcoming video, I'll show you guys a tour of the UiPath Studio. All right. Till then, keep learning and be happy.